abnormal, to avoid abnormal termination, abnormal termination, okay, problems. So what is abnormal termination means here? We said in the last session, unexpectedly, my program execution will be killed. Unexpectedly, my program execution will be stopped. So that situation is called as a abnormal situation. We call the situation we called as a abnormal situation. We called. Okay, right. So for example, let you see. For example, we are writing some class program. So in your front-end side, some class program we are writing. In this class program, okay, so we are writing some lines of code. Some lines of code we written. Okay, and after that we are writing static void main method. In main method, we are writing some lines of code. Okay, right, and I close your main. So generally in front-end programming language, what it was happening guys here. Okay, when you want to write some programs, so as per the user things, we can go to writing our programs. Yes or no? Okay, we are writing some lines of code. Okay, but we don't know whether it was exceptions are there or not there. We don't know until the program execution. Okay, suppose if you want to execute your program, and we all of you know the program execution starts from main method, and after that it will go to class code, and in class code each and every line by line code execution will be started. For example, whatever the code you written, the complete code one by one, line by line executed. Then finally, entire the code from top to bottom, how much code you written, how many lines of code you written, that each and every line should be successfully executed. Then finally, it was producing some output. Yes or no? The top to bottom entire code will be executed. Then it was producing some output. But same guys here, in the second situation, what it was happening, you can see. In the second situation, again, sometimes we are writing program and program execution started main method and we are going to class. Okay. Now, in this case, for example, when first line is executed, come to second line is executed, come to third line. But unfortunately, on the third line statement, now your exception is occurred. But we are not expected this. We are not expected this. But unfortunately, on this third line statement, your exception is occurred. Exception is occurred. So whenever exception is occurred, whenever your exception is occurred, immediately what it was going to done here, your program execution is stopped. The program execution is stopped. So program execution will be stopped, and after third line statement, now we have a fourth line and fifth line. So that remaining after third line, whatever the statements are there, 4 and 5, those statements are not executed. So why sir not executed means exactly on which line your exception is occurred, exactly at that point of time, your program execution will be stopped. And whenever your program execution will be stopped, this situation is called as a abnormal termination. Okay, we call it. The situation is called as a abnormal termination problem. We call it abnormal termination problem. We call it. Okay, now so now this abnormal termination, that means program execution will not continue and it will be stopped. Then what happened? We are not getting any result. We are not getting any output. There is no output. There is no output of this program. So we are not getting. Why? Because remaining half of the code is not executed, right? Remaining half of the code is not executed. So that's why we can't go for that. We can't get any result here. Okay, now this is what the situation is called abnormal. So this situation, to overcome purpose, In front-end languages, what we are going to do, guys, here, in front-end languages, what we are going to do, guys, here, we are using some try method in your Java, .NET, etc. So try methods we are using. Okay, next try catch methods we are using, guys. Try catch methods we are using. Okay, to avoiding this problem perhaps. Okay, try catch methods here. So when I'm using try and catch methods in the program, what it was happening? Suppose your program execution started, so main method is executed. Come back to try block first of all. So try block, suppose successfully complete code is executed try block, then your output will be showing us. So there is no problem. Okay, the try block statements are executed and it returns output. But second time, sometime, for example, some more time, what happens second time? Suppose are you executing your program? So later it will come to try block. Suppose first line is executed, second line is executed, but third line, your exception is occurred on the third line statement. So whenever the exception is occurred on the third line in try block, so what it was happened? So this exception is occurred now. So here it was occurred. Your exception is occurred. When it was exception occurred, what we said, your program execution will be stopped, right? But the try catch method advantage is what now? So whatever this exception is occurred, this statement, okay, is skipped by or is skipped by. Okay, so whatever the statement is, on which statement your exception is occurred, on which statement your program execution will be stopped here. So that statement will be skipped by your system. Skipping that statement, the statement is skipping. Okay, skipping that statement and giving permission to operating system, giving permissions to operating system to enter into catch block, and catch block statements are executed and returns some output. Okay, na? Returns some output. Okay, na? So this is what you want to say. Exception. Okay, how we can avoid it, and abnormal termination. That means program execution stop. The situation is we avoided and to OS to continue your program execution. Okay, na? So this is try catch methods how we are using in our Java programs like .NET, like C++, whatever it is. Okay, now so same to same in our database also we are using exception handlings. Okay, with the help of some exception classes, we can avoiding abnormal termination problems. Okay, now so that is how it was working. We will see. And basically, in our PLSQL language, there are two types of exceptions are there, guys. First one we call it as a system-defined exception, and second one is called as a user-defined exception. User-defined exception. Okay, now? So these are two types of exceptions are there in our database, especially in PLSQL language supported. There are two types of exceptions are supported. Okay, now one is we called as a system defined, is nothing but predefined exceptions, and second one is called as a user defined exception. These are two types. Okay, and now we can see these exceptions, how it was using and how it was working. Let us see first of all. But system defined exception or user defined exception, before you want to see that information, first, can you remember, guys, here in early days, that means in starting classes, introduction of PLSQL, I was given syntax for you. What is the syntax? Declare statement. In this, we are writing some statements here. After execution block, in this execution block, we are writing some statements. After that, exception block, it starts with the exception statement, and here we are passing some exception statements here. Okay, and finally end. So this is the three blocks. Can you remember, guys? These three blocks, can you remember? Yes. So now, as of now, exception block is we are not using. We are using only declaration and execution blocks only used. And now let me see exception block how to use. Okay, right. But now we can see by using of this syntax how we are using exception block. Okay, right. The first one we can see system defined exceptions. We will be discussing here. There are few system defined exceptions out there. There are few system defined exceptions out there. Like okay, system defined exceptions are called as these are predefined exception classes. Okay, there are so many classes are there, so many exceptions are there. Like for example, data underscore no underscore data underscore found exception class, like to underscore many underscore rows exception class, like a zero underscore divide exception class, like a invalid underscore cursor exception class, like a cursor, okay, already open cursor underscore already underscore open exception class. Okay, now, so like this, there are so many predefined exception classes are we have it here. These are not a used all are. So all exceptions, whatever the predefined exception classes are there. So every exception class is used for particular exception. The particular related exceptions are occurred in your program. So those exceptions to overcome purpose, we are using these predefined or system defined exception classes. Okay. For example, see no data found is there. So this exception class where I want to use it, sir, means I can use this exception class when data is not found in your table. Suppose when user tried to retrieving some data, so he was entered some employee number or some name or whatever. So whenever he was going to be retrieving some data from your table, but unfortunately the data was not there in the table, then it is called as a no data found exception is raised here. And whatever the no data found exception is raised here, that exception I need to overcome. Then how we can overcome means the related exception class, whatever it was there, no data found exception. So that I need to use to avoid that problem. Okay, now to avoid that problem. For example, let us see, I will show you practically by getting some idea. Okay, now, right. So now we can see no data found exception when I want to use it. Okay, no data found exception when I want to use it. Now come out and see. For example, I just open my database now. So as usual, want to connect. Now this is our table information. Okay, now right. Now I'm writing one small program declared one variable I'm declaring guys here. So varchar 2 of some size, and after that begin. And now I'm using select into statement. So that the name I have so emp. So where suppose emp number is equals to %% of emp. Later dbms underscore output dot put underscore line of. So that variable I'm going to passing here to finally end and call. Suppose if I enter 7900, if I entered guys. Now tell me 7900 record is there in the table? employee ID number 7900 record is there in the table. Yes, we have it here. So 7900 record, it is there in the table. So record is there. Record is there means, can I say data is found? Can I say data is found? When found, there is nothing problem. We are getting our output is James. So 7900 employee name is what now? James. So that was we are getting. That was we are getting. Okay, now so nothing problem here. Understand my point? Now, later, for example, suppose if I enter 1122 enter. Now tell me guys, here 1122 data is there in the table. Data.
Recording in progress.
So information and my exception name, every exception is having some name that is called a -01403. This is exception number and this is exception name. No data found. So what it was telling, 1122 whatever you entered, the 1122 record is not there in your table. So data is not found. So this exception, whatever it was occurred, data is not found. That exception I need to overcome. That exception I need to overcome. So then what I want to do, that the suitable exception class, whatever it was there, no data found. This exception class I have to use in my program to avoid no data found exception problem. Okay, now. Right. So how this predefined exception class I'm using here. So up to here, the program is same to same. I will take it, guys. Here I'm writing exception block. So we all of you know exception block starts with exception statement, right? Now, then later I'm passing. When what is my exception name? No data underscore found exception. Suppose in your program, if no data found exception is occurred, suppose in your program, if no data found exception is occurred, then immediately you have to display one message that is called a user-friendly messages I have to display. So DBMS output that put on this line, user-friendly message is what now? Record is not exist. Record is not exist. Okay, now that's it. So I just end my program and click execute. Suppose if I'm sending 7369 employee was there in my table. So PLSQL procedure successfully executed and that employee name is Smith. But when I'm going to sending 1122, actually 1122 employee is not there. Previously, it was rising exception. Previously, it was rising exception. But now we can see, now it is not rising any exception. Your PLSQL is showing output and PLSQL procedure successfully completed. So what is my output, guys? Here, record is not exist. Now tell me, your no data found exception is successfully we avoided. Avoided, na? Yes. So this is the way how the exceptions are being avoided. So we are avoiding exceptions. Okay, we are avoiding exceptions and printing some output. We are printing some output. That output is nothing but user-friendly messages. So by seeing of these user-friendly messages, the user can understand that, okay, 1122 record is not there. So that's why it is not displayed. So that information is program is executed here. Careful observe. My program is not giving any error. My program successfully executing and some user friendly messages are displaying to the user. That is output. The user friendly message is called as an output, and successfully your program is execute and displaying your output. So the whatever that error is occurred in the previously, that error is I just overcome. So this is the way how that exceptions are going to be avoided by using some related exception class. Okay, right. In the same to same, next exception class is observed. What is next exception class here? Too many rows. Too many rows. So this exception class, when I want to use, means whenever user, okay, whenever user, that means when user trying to fetching or retrieving data from your table, when your table, okay, so when a table is having more than one row, more than one row, okay, when your table is having more than one row, then there's two underscore many underscore row exceptions are occurred. Then exception is occurred. Okay, exception is occurred. So why it is occurred? When it is occurred means when your table is having more than one row, while user fetching the data from a table, but the table unfortunately is having more than one row. At that moment, too many rows exception is occurred. Okay. For example, just practically see, you can understand. Have to call some table guys here. So MP99, no rows. Yeah, this is one table structure, guys. Carefully observe. I am inserting some data into this table. So insert into EMP99, I'm sending values. 1021, some name is salary, some salary was, for example, 25,000, I insert. And after that, when you come back to your table, EMP99 is having only single row. Yes or no, guys? It was having single row. Okay, yes, it was having single row. So exactly on this table data, now I'm using my program. So now I'm passing salary as a number type, and I'm passing here begin. So passing select class here. So select salary into v underscore sal from EMP99. Okay, now then dbms underscore output dot put underscore line of v underscore salary, and finally end my executor. So what happened? Your EMP99 table is having only single row, and selecting to class, we are going to be fetching the data from EMP99 with the single value, whatever it was that was getting. So when your table is having, okay, only one row data, then nothing problem. Because of reason, your select into statement, is always fetching, always retrieving only single row data, only fetching. Okay, now, right. So now this is the problem. Okay, so sorry, this is your output is get it. But suppose in my EMP99 table, I'm inserting one more record. I'm inserting. The name is Alan. Salary was 32,000. So now tell me guys here, in your EMP99 table, so how many rows are there right now? Two rows we have it. So that means your table is having more than one row, right? Come on guys, your table is having more than one row, right? Yes. Now let you see the same program, whatever I was written. the same program I'm going to use in here. Okay, now right. It was showing error now. Same program, it was showing error. What is error? Exception error. My exception number ora dash 01422. Exact fetcher returns more than requested number of rows. Exact fetcher returns more than requested number of rows. More than requested number of rows are available in your table. Okay, now so that is a what problem. So this problem, to overcome purpose, what we want to do now, have to use a exception block. Now I'm writing exception block. Exception, then what is my exception name? 2 underscore many underscore rows. If it is occurred, that means in your table too many rows are there. Too many means multiple rows are there, or too many rows are there in your table. Then immediately I have to display some user-friendly messages to user. Okay, what is the message? We can say, okay, a table is having more than one row. Okay, as your wish. User-friendly messages, any kind you can do. So table is having more than one row. So let you see, and after that end and close. What it was telling to me when I executed this program, table is having more than one row, and your PLSQL program successfully done. So that means previously whatever the exception is occurred, this exception is we avoided, and in place of exception we are displaying some output, and that output is what now? User friendly messages. In place of exception we are okay now, right? Okay, right. So this is what it was. For example, whatever my table is there. Okay, whatever my table is. So EMP 99. Okay, now two records are there now. And now I'm going to delete. So delete from EMP 99. So where EID is equals to 102 or 1021 or 22, whatever it is. So where we done mistake here. So EID is equals to 1021, we deleted. Okay, now right, one row is deleted. Fine. Now come to your table EMP 99. So now only single row is there. On the single row, suppose the same program I'm writing now. Same program I'm writing now. Same program I'm writing now. Let you see what happened. Output is 32,000 same now. Yes, because so that means what do you understand, guys, here? So two underscore many underscore rows, this exception when it was we are using when your table is having more than one row, at the time this exception is occurred, and the related exception class we are using to avoiding that problem. Okay, now this is what we call it. This is second exception class we are using this. Third one is called as a zero underscore divide exception. Zero underscore divide exception. Zero underscore divide exception, what it was telling us. What it was telling means, so whenever you want to do division operation, whenever we want to do divide operation with the zero number, okay, we are going to be dividing by zero, then it is called a divide zero. Okay, underscore divide exception is called it. That is what we called it. Dividing by zero. So whenever your operation will be divided by zero, then okay, zero exception zero, or as a divisor is equals to zero exception is occurred. Okay, now right? So now it was going to be C, guys. Now let me see example. Let me see this example. Suppose I'm going to declaring here. So declare some variables. I'm declaring as X is a number. So Y is a number and Z is a number. The three types of, okay, the three variables I'm declaring, right? And after that, begin. So X is equals to ampersandage of X. Y is equals to ampersandage of Y. And Z is equals to, suppose X by Y I was calculating. Then simply what we can say, dbms underscore output dot put underscore line of what you say Z value I want to display. Now finally I'm ending this statement and execute. So X value 10, Y value 5 was given, guys. So 10 by 5 means your division is how much here? 2. So there is nothing problem. My output is 2. The 2 is successfully displayed. My output is 2. The 2 is successfully displayed. Okay, now? Right. But when I come to, guys, here, suppose in the same to same, when I'm passing 10, second number passing 0. Second number passing 0. So when you pass second number 0, what it was happen, you can see. What it was happen, you can see. Now, it was showing error. What is my error here? Divisor is equals to 0. Okay, now? So divisor is equals to 0. Understand? Right. So that means what happened? Your division, okay, whatever you performing division operation by 0 number, then it was showing this error. By 0 number, it was showing this error. Okay, now? Right. So now this I want to overcome. How to overcome means, can you observe same thing? So same as it is up to here, I will be take it. Okay, now? Right. And now I'm passing exception. So what is my exception, guys, here? 0 underscore divide. Then it was showing dbms underscore output dot put underscore line of what do you say? Second number should not be 0. Second number should not be 0, right? And finally end your exception. Now when I'm passing 10 by 5, output is 2, coming out without having any problem. And when you're passing here 10 by 0, even though we don't have a problem, and it was saying second number should not be 0, and PLSQL procedure is successfully created. Okay, now? So this is 0 underscore divide exception, how we can use in the program. Okay, right. In the same to same, guys, here same like this, the remaining what? Invalid cursor. So invalid cursor, this exception class, when we want to use, guys, when we want to use means, for example, user is forgot data. Whenever you want to fetching the data, from cursor memory without opening cursor connection. So simple I'm writing now. So without open cursor connection, user try to fetching data from cursor memory. So there this problem is occurred. That means invalid cursor exception is occurred. When without opening your cursor connection, user try to fetching the data from cursor memory. So at this moment, okay, invalid cursor exception is fired. And that exception we can overcome by using of invalid cursor. Okay, let you come out and see. So already we discussed cursors. I hope that you remember cursors program. So declare cursor C1 is select some column name. I'm taking EMP table. So one variable for the selected column. So varchar towards heights, and later begin. After that, what we want to do, guys? We need to open your cursor connectivity, right? We open cursor connectivity, but without opening directly, I'm fetching. Fetch from P1, storing under V underscore ename. Okay, now after that, dbms underscore output dot put underscore line of V underscore ename. Okay, now I'm fetching and displaying. After displaying, what you want to do? Close your P1. After closing, end your begin statement and see what happening, guys. Here immediately exceptions occur. Invalid cursor. So invalid cursor. Okay, now so invalid cursor exception is occurred. And now you can check out, guys, here when this was occurred invalid cursor. So that means you can see. Now why it was occurred means we are without writing or missing open statement. So we are declaring, fetching, closing. But what we missed here? Open cursor connectivity we missed. Understanding now? Open cursor connectivity is we missed. Okay. So this is the problem. So that's what we want to do to avoid this problem. Okay, up to here I will take as it is. And now I'm writing exception block. Exception. When exception is what now? What is the exception class name? Invalid cursor. Invalid cursor. Then I have to write dbms underscore output dot put underscore line of what you say, guys, here. First we should open cursor connection. So some user friendly message. Okay, now first we should open cursor connection, right? Now and finally and what happened? You can see previously invalid cursor is occurred, but now this is no error, exception is avoided. And what we were saying, first we should open cursor connectivity. So the problem is avoided. Invalid cursor exception problem is we avoid. Okay, now? So this is what we call as guys here. Okay, right. So next one is what now? Next exception is what now? Cursor already open. Cursor already open exception is there. This is also one predefined exception. So cursor already open. What is this exception is telling us means? So without closing, okay, without close. So without close cursor connection, without close cursor connection, user try to reopening cursor. Okay, now so this exception cursor already open, this exception when it was useful means user first I open, okay, now fetching and close. I want to close. So already we open our cursor. But without closing, again you try to reopen your cursor. At the time the problem is occurred, because when you want to reopen your cursor, first of all, opening connectivity should be closed first of all. Yes, sir. So already I open, fetch and close. After closing only, again we have a chance to reopen. But without closing, already we open, then why are you writing again open? Point understanding now? So I already open. I already opened my cursor connectivity. Again, you are writing, again, you are reusing open statement. Why are you using? It's not necessary. Without closing, again, you don't want to use rename or reopening. Okay. It means what now? Practically, you can see, you can get some idea. Same program, I will take it, guys. First of all. And here, see, I'm writing open statement. Open C1. Open C1. Okay, right. Open C1, as usual, are you fetching and printing? Okay, fine. Are you fetching? But without close, actually, I want to close now. Without close, again, I'm writing open C1. But guys, tell me, already open C1 I already used it. But why you are writing again open C1? And now, after that, you are saying that end my begin statement and execute. What happened? Cursor already open. Cursor already open. Then why are you opening again? We need to close now. We need to close. But why you are using again open statement? Okay, this is the problem of cursor already open statement. Okay, exception. How it is occurred means without closing. If you are using again open statement, so that was showing error. So how to overcome this problem? Again, same. Up to here, I have to take and exception block you have to use, and I have to say when. So now, okay, when I have to take what is my cursor underscore already underscore open. Cursor underscore already open. Okay, then dbms. Okay, dbms underscore output dot put underscore line of what we want to say. First, we should close cursor connection. First, we should close cursor connection to reopen. Okay, now right, and end and close. Now you can see what it will happen. First cursor connection will be open and fetching your first row data. First row data name is what? Smith. So first row data fetching and displaying. After displaying, again, what I'm using open statement. But what it was telling, first we should close cursor connection to reopen purpose. Okay, without closing, without fetching, printing, and I need to close without closing, then why you are using again open statement? It's not necessary to use again open statement. Why? Because already we used open statement. Already we used here open statement. So that's why again we don't want it. Again, we don't want it. So like this, guys, here, predefined exceptions, whatever it was there. Okay, so many are there, but few examples for your understanding purpose. Okay, so whatever the predefined exceptions are, we have it here. So those predefined exception classes, how to use in my PLSQL program to avoiding the related problems, to avoiding the related exceptions. Okay, now, so these are some predefined exception classes. Okay, and next one is observe. SQL code and SQL ERRM. So what is this SQL code and SQL ERRM means? These are called as a two properties, guys. These are called as a two properties. For example, sometimes what it was happened, guys, we don't know what type of exception is occurred in my program. We don't know. So when I know which type of exception is occurred in my program, when I know, then the related exception classes, whatever it was there, suppose I expected 0 exception is occurred, then I can use 0, or cursor missing, open, invalid cursor, closing, okay, cursor already open. So that means when programmer will knows that what type of exception is occurred in the program, then the related exception class we are implementing before. right? But tell me guys here, user can find out before your exception. Can you find out before? In my program, what type of exception is occurred that you expected before? No, we are not expecting. Yes or no? So we are not expecting because I don't know what type of exception is occurring in my program. User cannot expect it. So at this moment, so I don't know which exception class I want to use. I don't know. I want to use cursor underscore already open exception, invalid, zero, too many rows, or else no data found. So which exception class I have to use in my program, that user doesn't know it. Okay, now, so whenever user doesn't know exception class name and which type of exception is occurred in the program, so when you doesn't know, then simply we have to use what now? SQL code and ERRM. So SQL code and ERRM is called as the two properties types. These are two properties, and these properties, what it was telling, SQL code is telling it return exception number. So which exception is occurred, that exception number is written. SQL ERRM is nothing but error message. Then it was written error with the exception error message. Okay, now these are the two properties. Okay, now so these two properties when we want to use, when you doesn't know what type of exception is occurred in the program, and I don't know which type of exception class I want to use here. Okay, when you doesn't know these things, simply can go for SQL code or ERR. Okay, let me see a small program I will go to here. Suppose in this only, so already one program we written, one small program. Yeah, this is so declaration of this and exceptions and DBMS up to here. I will take this guys carefully observe. But exception class I don't know, for example. So when we don't know exception class, then what I want to use? Others. Okay, I don't know exception class. Exception class you don't know, then you can use simply others. Others means what now? All exceptions will be taken. Any kind of exceptions occur that will be handled by your system by using of others keyword. Others means all exceptions purpose. Okay, now then you have to write. Okay, so dbms underscore output dot put underscore line of SQL code. I'm passing just a property. I'm passing same to same dbms underscore output put underscore. Okay, what I'm passing here? SQL ERRM. That's it. I don't know exception class. I don't know anything. That's the properties I'm passing. Okay, just execute. Now 10 by 5 output is 2, no problem. But when I'm passing 10 by 0, then what happened? Come on, your exception number is what? 1476. So here also giving pora minus 1476. What is divisor is equals to 0. That means now tell me guys here, in this program, your system is a handle. Which type of exception is system is handle? Come on guys, which type of exception the system is handle internally? Yeah, divide by 0 exception is handled. So divide by 0 exception is handled and producing that result. Okay, now. So but here I don't know now. What is my exception class name? I don't know. Others. I don't know what is message will come. So that's why we are passing code and error. So by using of others keyword, any exception, it may be no data found exception, too many rows exception, 0 divide exception, cursor already open exception, invalid cursor exception, 0 what we can say invalid number exception, whatever it is, I don't mind it. Just simply I'm passing like this in my program, then whatever that exception is there, that will be automatically handling by your system, and that information is showing us. See, which type of exception is handling by system, that information is showing to user, showing to programmer. then programmer can understand that, okay, in this program, 0 divisor is equals to 0 exception is handled by my system. So that information I can see it. With the help of that information, how the users knows that? How the users knows that? With the help of SQL code and ERRM. So whenever you want to use SQL code and ERRM, so then you can use others. That means when you doesn't know, suppose you know, you can use directly exception class name. Okay, now, but we doesn't know what kind of exception, then simply you can use others, and simply you can use these two properties. Okay, guys. Yes, these are one advantage of these two properties. What it is, now we get some idea. And later, after that, next, these are called as some predefined information, predefined exception classes, how to use in the program. And once you doesn't know exception classes, then how to use your program by using of others keyword and SQL code and ERRM. Okay, right. And the next one is called as user defined exceptions. But that user defined exceptions we will see on Monday session, guys. Actually, at my home there is no power, so power was already gone, but still we are going to continue up to my battery low. Okay, na? Right. So anyway, I stop it here, and user defined, the second category, user defined exceptions, we will see in tomorrow Monday session, guys. Okay, right, guys. So I stop it here. Right. Thank you so much.